Hello, friends. Today I'm going to share with you how we are going to support student learning around planning and conducting an investigation using the Play and Learn Science app from PBS. Before today's lesson, be sure to download the Play and Learn Science app from the App Store. This is a free app from PBS Kids and is what you'll want to share on your screen during the presentation of your science lesson. The program we'll be using within the app is the Explore the Role activity. This activity is an open-ended, inquiry-based model of learning for students, where they can roll different objects down the slide and examine the effect that their different shapes and sizes have on how far they roll. In any investigation, scientists and students need to determine what materials they will use to perform the investigation and what the test will look like, or how the test will be completed. In that, they'll need to consider how they're going to measure whatever it is that they're trying to solve for. In our challenge today, we're asking students to consider how the weight of an object affects the amount of energy it has or can transfer. You'll want to bring students' attention to the different materials that they have available to them at the bottom of the screen. This activity will hopefully help them make connections about what materials they have at home or in their neighborhood or natural surroundings that can also lead them to answer the question in their own investigation. In this case, we can see by starting with just some exploration of the materials that some of these materials are going to roll further than other materials. Getting a sense of which materials roll the farthest and how far they roll will help in determining which materials should be tested and used both as the materials to be rolled down, but also the materials to be collided with to see just how far a material might travel in a collision. Asking students to consider what they'll measure will lead to conversations around how they can measure. In this particular model, we don't have a measurement tool such as a ruler, but we do have objects of reference such as the lamp and the bookshelf, or the window, or the clock, and so forth. Setting up a material like this coin on the lamp and rolling different materials down the slide will allow us to see how objects of different sizes or weights we're using in this particular investigation impact how far the objects travel, and therefore how much energy is being transferred. Objects, it should be assumed, or students should come to the decision together, that objects that roll farther will be transferring more energy than objects that roll shorter distances. For example, rolling this ping pong ball down the hill creates a much smaller collision with less distance of the coin being rolled than, for example, this tennis ball, which travels even more distance when we use a tool like the jelly ball. By completing multiple trials with different materials, but setting up the coin in the same location, we can create a model investigation where one variable, in this case the different ball being rolled down the hill is what's being tested. And we can measure the impact or change in each material based on the point of reference of how far an object rolls. Students should make connections between this investigation and their own investigation that they'll conduct at home about how they might be able to gather evidence to answer the question that they will have to answer independently, which has to do with how the speed of an object affects the amount of energy passed in a collision. As always, we'll want you to do your best to be the guide on the side rather than the master of ceremonies, putting on the show for your students. Do your best to encourage them to tell you what to do next with the app as you spend this period of time with your students, helping them understand what is important about planning investigations, which again is, what materials are we going to use? How are we going to use them? And what are we going to measure to get our answer? Thanks so much, and good luck conducting this investigation with your students.